there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review for The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. But before we go ahead and get on into the review, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to all of my social medias, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon. The Lost Metal is the fourth and final book in the Mistborn Era 2 series, or the seventh book in the Mistborn series total, and this book went off with a bang. I have read all of Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere books except for the stories and stuff that's in Arcanum Unbounded, and you guys will have to correct me because I know that there's also Mistborn A Secret History, and I don't know if that's separate from Arcanum Unbounded or if it's included in there, so I haven't read that either. So I feel like I'm pretty caught up on all of the events that Brandon Sanderson includes in his Cosmere, because as we are moving forward in his world, in his books, in his plots, we learn that everything, almost everything, is interconnected. And I feel like the more books that he writes, the further interconnected these plot lines and these characters get, because we are getting references to events on different planets in this Cosmere, and we are getting appearances from characters from different worlds in, different plots, such as The Lost Metal. And I'm going to talk about that. There will be some spoilery things in this review, so I will be sure to put timestamps down below if you have not read this and don't want to be spoiled. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what this book is about. Then I'm going to talk about some things that I liked, and then some things that I didn't like, and then kind of discuss just little points that I want to discuss. So in this book, we are still following our main characters, Waxwayne, Steris, and Marasi, and then some of the Kandra. And The Lost Metal takes place 6 years after the Bands of Mourning, the ending of the Bands of Mourning. So there is a lot of unrest going on in this world. Some of the southern cities in the basin feel like Elendil should not be controlling them, that they are putting way too many restrictions on their economy, and they kind of are threatening to rebel and perhaps have civil war with Elendil to kind of separate themselves. And then we also learned that there is a lot of corruption in the current Elendil government. And then we are dealing with the Set. So the Set is a group of people, kind of like a criminal organization that follows this being called Trell. And they have infiltrated the Elendil Senate. They're trying to encourage divisiveness. They're trying to encourage civil war in the basin. So they're like not a good group. And Wax has become a senator, so he has kind of hung up his pistols and he's no longer like a rogue gunman. He is now more of a politician, but obviously he cannot say no to his nature. So in addition to the unrest that's going on in the basin, one day Wax and Marasi, who are now partners, and Marasi is a constable, they are kind of following the Set and trying to figure out what's going on with this criminal organization, and they find out that they are creating or trying to create these weapons of mass destruction, and that kind of leads them on a trail to figure out exactly what's going on. And I will say that when we first started Mistborn Era 2, the technology, it takes place 300 years after the events of the original Mistborn, so technology has changed, but we see way more like technological progression in this book at a rapid pace. Even from book 1, The Alloy of Law, we see just a rapid industrialization of this world. So in book 1, there was just the beginning of like cars and people driving cars, and in book 4, like everyone drives the cars, and gas-powered trucks and everything are a thing. And a lot of the way that the world is described is a lot like modern day, world here. There's electricity, stuff like that. The only thing they don't have are like, smartphones and computers. But I feel like the setting is very, very similar and parallels our a modern day setting, which is kind of interesting to put like a Mistborn book in a modern day setting. It was a little bit jarring for me, but I liked it. So in order to figure out exactly what the Set is planning to do with these weapons of mass destruction, the group, Waxwayne, Marasi, and Steris, have to investigate. They have to leave Elendil. And obviously, Wax is in communication with Harmony, the god Harmony, and he has been having some difficulty. He has been almost like blinded, and he can't really see what's going on, and he doesn't have a lot of the foresight that he used to. So he's been compromised, and that puts a strain on how successful Wax and his crew might be in their endeavor. One of the things that I really liked in this book was the characters. I thought every single one of these characters had an amazing character arc, which I was just not expecting. So first we have Steris. Steris and Wax are married, and Steris was not a very likable character in the beginning of the series, but I grew to like her a lot. She is very meticulous. She plans for everything. She's a little bit, obsessive compulsive, type A personality, and a lot of people have criticized that over the years. So Steris is really unsure of herself, and then when Wax has to leave his senator position in order to go deal with the set, she has to overcome a lot of her own insecurities, and the way that she is, her personality actually ends up saving a lot of people in Ellendale. So we get to see just her celebrated, and just because she's different, everybody has a gift, and those gifts can be utilized, or when those gifts are utilized properly, can be very beneficial to society. So I really liked Steris's growth. And then we have Wayne. Wayne, from the beginning of the series, was grappling with some internal conflict. He was not the best guy originally. He murdered innocent people, and he's been carrying around that rock, that weight, for years and years and years, and he's been having trouble forgiving himself. And I would say a good amount of the book revolved around Wayne learning to forgive himself and realizing that people can change, and he has elected to change, and the old version of him has died, and that's possible. Like, we can grow as human beings, we can shed our skin like a snake, and we can change and become better. And it was just interesting watching him grapple with that idea and his identity and being able to forgive himself. Then we have Wax, who is trying to reconcile his two different selves. So we have the, rogue gunman from the Roughs, we have the Mistborn Wax, and then we have the Senator Wax. And I really love just seeing him at his full potential. Just all the things that makes up Waxilium were exhibited in this book. It just showed that people are multifaceted, and just because you're in one role doesn't mean that you're not capable of fulfilling a different role. And I just love seeing that from Wax. And then we have Marcy. Marcy has become this awesome, awesome constable and detective, and she has gained a lot of confidence too. And what I really liked about Marcy is really all about protecting the people. She really is altruistic, and she believes in creating a society that the leaders of that society are transparent with the people, that are honest with the people, and she just has this duty to protect the people of Ellendale, and she turns down like a really, really good opportunity just because it went against her moral code and her values. And I just love that Marcy was able to stay true to herself and her values. As for the things that I didn't like, there really wasn't too much in this book. I think the main thing is that I found the plot was fairly traditional. And I'm going to go into some spoilers here. So the set was learning how to split some of the god metals, and with that comes immense power. So imagine like in the Manhattan Project when the scientists were trying to split the atom to create the atom bomb. So it's kind of like very similar to that. So this immense amount of power can be released, and they are literally creating a bomb. So like I said, in this book, it's way more industrialized and modern. So the set is essentially creating this bomb, and they are going to send it to Ellendale, kill everybody in Ellendale, and Waxway, Steris, and Marcy have to thwart their attempts. So the overarching, I guess, plot was just very traditional good versus evil, stop the bad guy from killing everybody type plot. And I think the only thing, or some of the only things that saved this, was everything else that Brandon included in this book. So his awesome characters, his awesome magic system that was just even more expanded on in this book. Like, it's getting to the point where I'm like flipping to the back of the book, looking at the reference pages, like, what does this metal do? Like, I cannot remember all the intricacies of this magic system. He has just, oh my God, it's just so, so intricate. He's constantly adding on to it. So that was definitely like a saving factor of the book. And then we have just the inclusion of the different Cosmere elements. I really liked that because it just shows that this plot is a part of a whole, and I love putting those puzzle pieces together. So what got revealed in this book was that Kelsier is the leader of the Ghostbloods. So that was hinted at in the Stormlight archives, and I can't remember if it was revealed in Rhythm of War or if it was hinted at, but I always thought that it was Kelsier because they talked about his scars and things like that, and they kind of have their hands dipped in the different conflicts of, the Cosmere. We also get introduced to who exactly Trell is. So Trell is a new god, or at least new to me. If she was mentioned in other books, I do not remember. But it is autonomy, and autonomy, I guess her disposition, her personality, her motivations, that was all explained in the book really, really well. So if autonomy is going to be included in Sanderson's other Cosmere books, we do have like a good picture of the type of god that she is. And she gives her followers like a false sense of, I guess, self-ownership, even though she's controlling them. So I thought that was really interesting. So I'm curious if autonomy is going to make a reappearance in any more of Sanderson's works. And then we get some other characters from other parts of the Cosmere that I had no clue who they were. So we have Moonlight, who I did not know who she was, and I actually had to look it up, and she's a character from The Emperor's Soul, which, like I said earlier, I'm like, I've read all of Sanderson's Cosmere books except for the ones that I mentioned, and I'm like, I haven't read The Emperor's Soul, so I don't know who this is. So if there was some sort of connection, like, I completely missed out on it, and I was bummed about it. And then we get introduced to Twin Soul, and I don't know who Twin Soul is. Like, I don't know if he has been introduced in other works and I just didn't know. And then he was using this like badass magic system that I was like, what is he doing? I thought it was really cool. I really liked it. It was just kind of thrown in there in the middle of like an allomantic universe. He's doing this completely different magic, and it was really cool. I enjoyed it. And I was trying to think where that magic had been talked about or exemplified in other works, and I couldn't make the connection. So either I'm forgetting something or I just haven't read about it. And then we have some of the magic from Elantris that's included in this. So Sanderson, like towards the end, was throwing in a lot of Cosmere elements and characters into this book. So having said that, I think it would be really, really hard to read The Lost Metal if you are not caught up on his other books, namely Elantris and Rhythm of War, I would say. And apparently even his short stories, because I feel like I missed out on some stuff because I haven't read them. So all in all, The Lost Metal went off with a bang. Like this, the ending was so good. We lost one of our characters that I did not think that was going to happen, and my heart cried a little bit when he did what he did. And just like the emotional scenes that came after that were just kind of pulled at my heartstrings. And I loved every minute of this book. It was action-packed. It was connected to the Cosmere so many different ways. We got cameos from so many different characters and universes. Our characters, our main characters, our protagonists had awesome character arcs. There were a ton of action-packed fight scenes. We get more expansion on the world, more expansion on the magic. So Brandon, you could tell, put a lot of time, effort, and his heart into writing this finale. And I think out of all of the books in Mistborn Era 2, this is by far my favorite and the best one. And I wasn't expecting that because I liked The Alloy of Law. I did not like Shadows of Self. I enjoyed Bands of Mourning, but this book, it was one of those books where I couldn't wait to pick it up. I was excited to pick it up. I wasn't just reading because I have to get through this book. Like, I really enjoyed it. So all in all, I gave The Lost Metal 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, you guys, let me know in the comments if you read this book and what you thought of it, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye!